Mornings have a rhythm. You can hear it, feel it. And at Quaker, we fuel it. With 100% whole grain oats and a good source of fiber in every bowl, helping you turn that rhythm into your soundtrack for a great day. Fuel to start whatever's next. Quaker, official sponsor of FIFA World Cup 26.
Let's go! Let's go!
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come experience the beauty that awaits in Scotland. The sweep of wild coastlines, quiet lochs, and untamed landscapes. Fresh cuisine that feels rooted in the land. Come experience the kind of stillness that stays with you long after you leave. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Why does my metabolism feel slower, even though I'm eating clean and I'm exercising? In my 40s, I felt that shift too. It seemed like my body went from high performance mode, battery saving mode overnight. I was doing everything right, but something wasn't adding up. And then one small change transformed everything. How and when I ate breakfast. Not a fad diet, not more workouts, a simple science-backed shift in timing and protein that flipped my metabolism back on. And today I'm going to break down this breakfast rule that changed my energy, my cravings, my workout, and the way I age. Hey, I'm JJ Virgin, PhD dropout, sorry mom, turned 4-time New York Times bestselling author. As a certified nutrition specialist, fitness Hall of Famer, and globally recognized leader in health, I'm driven to keep asking the tough questions and use my podcast to simplify the science of health into actionable strategies that help you thrive. Want an ad-free experience? You can now subscribe to my exclusive VIP podcast at subscribetojj.com for just $4.99 a month or $49.99 a year. It's like your daily latte, but better for your health. I'd also love to hear your thoughts on the show. And here's the fun part. When you send me your review, I'll reply to you using my on-demand virtual me. That's right, my team and I created a virtual JJ packed with my books, speeches, and wisdom so I can personally connect with you. Here's how you do it. Subscribe and leave an honest review of the podcast. Take a screenshot of your review. Text it to 813-565-2627. That's 813-565-2627. My virtual JJ will reply directly. And trust me, this will make your day. So subscribe now at subscribetojj.com and text me your review. Let's keep thriving together.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
We're going to talk first about why timing matters, what your first meal should look like after 40, the biggest mistakes women make in the morning, and the exact formula I use to keep blood sugar steady, support my hormones, and stay strong and energized all day long. Now, important idea. When you eat, is just as important as what you eat. So we're going to start with timing. And I'm going to do a shout out to Dr. Sachin Panda. He is a circadian rhythm researcher at the Salk Institute. And what he's found is that your body's metabolic machinery follows a 24-hour clock. In his 2015 Cell Metabolism paper, he found that eating within an 8 to 10 hour window, especially starting earlier in the day, improves insulin sensitivity, lipid profiles, and even sleep quality. What's that mean for us? When you eat breakfast matters. Front-loading calories earlier supports your body's natural cortisol and insulin rhythms. So the old me got up and ate right away. And then I was hungry literally like 2 to 3 hours later. Then I tried intermittent fasting. I waited 5 hours, and that made me not only cranky, but I overate the rest of the day. Plus my workouts tanked. The new me eats 90 to 120 minutes after I wake up in the morning. Here's the big hack. First thing you want to do when you wake up is go look at sunlight. That's going to help get your cortisol up in the AM and basically get your body back online, get your pancreas cranking again, ready to secrete insulin so that when you do eat, it's ready to respond. In fact, what we know is that morning light exposure is the best way to set your internal clock. What you want to do is step outside within 30 minutes of waking because sunlight's telling your brain, hey, it's go time, and it will boost cortisol naturally so metabolism turns on. I'm going to shout out to Dr. Andrew Huberman for that one. That was Huberman Lab podcast. Great tip there. Now, if you want to really dive into your morning routine, I did a full breakdown of my exact routine that's going to cost you $0. And I'm going to link it at the end of this video. It's how I finally built the perfect morning routine and why it works for women over 40. Here's what I'll share. When I was on the Dr. Phil weight loss challenges as the nutritionist, there was one thing they all had in common. You know what it was? They skipped breakfast. In fact, multiple population studies show that habitual breakfast skippers have higher body mass and worse blood sugar control. Dr. Philippa Clark's 2021 meta-analysis in the Public Health Nutrition found breakfast skipping linked to a 43% higher risk of obesity and poorer cardiometabolic markers. And then a 2019 study in Nutrients confirmed that early eaters maintain better glycemic control and spontaneous physical activity than skippers. And in the study, long-term weight loss and breakfast in subjects in the National Weight Control Registry, that was published in the Obesity Research 2002, registrants, and this was like 3,000 people, by the way, who had lost at least 30 pounds and kept it off for more than a year. Of them, 78% reported eating breakfast every day of the week. Only 4% reported never eating breakfast. Another one in the National Weight Control Registry's broader behavioral summary, led by Jim Hill, I just had him on Well Beyond 40, he lists one of the 8 common behaviors among these successful maintainers is eating breakfast every day. In that summary, the maintainers' mean weight loss was 70 pounds, and their average time of keeping it off was 6 years or longer. And breakfast consumption was one of their most consistent habits. So eat your breakfast. Most important concept here, besides when you eat, is what you eat. And what you eat at breakfast can really shape your entire day. And here's a mistake most women 40 plus make. They eat a healthy breakfast that's really a blood sugar bomb. Granola, that oat milk latte, the toast with the fruit-only jam, maybe a splash of nut butter. Bottom line, low protein, carb-and-fat combo, obesogenic, and it's going to spike glucose and crash your energy. In fact, the standard American breakfast is the perfect obesogenic formula. Think about it. Refined carbs and fats equals elevated insulin and suppressed satiety. And that's actually what Kevin Hall found in Cell Metabolism in 2019. He did a controlled trial and that showed people who were eating ultra-processed foods consumed about 500 extra calories a day without even realizing it, even when everything was matched, all the calories and macros were matched. So first rule is ditch the ultra-processed metabolic dumpster fire that could be your breakfast, right? Get rid of those things because even if there's not a caloric surplus on paper, it's going to put your hunger hormones in overdrive and get your brain reward system to drive you to eat more and more and more, and plus has a lower thermic effect of food than protein does. So speaking of which, protein changes the game. Studies from Dr. Michael Ormsby of FSU and Dr. Abby Smith-Ryan at UNC show that eating protein before a morning workout boosts resting energy expenditure and lean mass gains. And Michael Ormsby in the British Journal of Nutrition showed that a 40-gram casein pre-sleep or pre-exercise hit elevated the next day metabolism or that morning metabolism by 5%. That's significant. So Abby Smith-Ryan showed in the Journal of International Society of Sports Nutrition in 2020 that pre-exercise protein enhanced fat-free mass and recovery in women 40 plus. So boost your morning metabolism, helps you work out harder, recover better, build fat-free mass. And here's another one. There's this thing called the second meal phenomenon, that when you eat a high-protein breakfast, your blood sugar response to lunch is lower and smoother. And that was in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition by Gibney in 1997. Kind of one of those things that seems to get ignored. Now, what happens if you're going to go work out and you're fasted? Here's what I do. Sometimes I really love to eat about an hour and a half, 2 hours after I wake up, and then go to the gym about an hour later. But sometimes that doesn't work out, especially when I'm traveling. So here's what I do instead. I throw some collagen in my coffee to support my joints. I add in my amino acid powder into my drink to the gym with my electro-replenish and my sheatine. So I've got everything in there to support my muscles. And then I take a packet of Yoked and I take that as well. And Yoked is amazing because it can help you lower myostatin and improve muscle protein synthesis. So that's what I do if I can't go have a full-on breakfast. I do all of that stuff to support. I actually do that either which way. It's just whether I have other things put in the smoothie or not, depending on if I'm getting up and rolling to the gym early in the morning. If I'm not able to have that smoothie or some yogurt or whatever else, I do that first and then I come back and I have the rest of it. So let's build your metabolic breakfast formula, shall we? So step one, you know what I love to say, eat protein first. You really want to make sure you get at least 30 grams of animal or 40 grams of plant of high quality protein. Super important because you're going after the essential aminos, especially the branch chain and especially leucine to trigger muscle protein synthesis. This is the work of Don Layman who discovered that. And so that's what we want to make sure we get in. And as you're older, you need more, not less of that. Step two, add some fiber and some color with some carbs. So phytonutrients and fiber. This is non-starchy veggies. This can be fruit. This can be flax. This can be chia. This is going to help create a slow blood sugar response. And also that fiber and phytonutrients really fuel the microbiome. Then, of course, we need some smart fats. So things like omega-3s or monounsats, maybe some avocados, maybe some nuts, olive oil, a little bit of that. So we've got that beautiful satiety trifecta of protein, fat, and fiber. And then I love to put this into a smoothie. So again, we have this perfect balance of protein and the fiber and phytonutrients from the plants, and then the healthy fats for keeping that inflammatory balance. So how are we going to have those? Because that sounds great, but let's put it into food. So one, of course, is smoothies. I love me some smoothies. I use my Reignite Wellness protein powder. Now, I personally like to take my paleo and my plant and mix them together. I will tell you a little secret of what I've done with these shakes. Years ago, when I wrote The Virgin Diet, I discovered a lot of people were not responding well to eggs and to dairy. And so that really kind of makes breakfast challenging. So I created 2 types of shakes. I started with the plant-based shake and then I made a bone broth shake. The challenge with both of those is that you are not going to get the essential amino acid blend that you would get if you had whey protein, and whey protein is the gold standard. So one night at 4 a.m., I woke up and thought, what if I could take my protein powders and add essential aminos to make them resemble whey? And that's exactly what I did. So in both my bone broth protein powder and my plant-based protein powder that are in my Reignite Wellness brand, I have spiked the aminos to mimic whey. So that makes it easy for you to make a protein smoothie and get everything you need. And kind of really easy protein smoothie to do is use your nut milk of choice. I tend to use flax milk with added protein in it, or you could use a coconut milk, whatever you like, just no sugar. Throw in some berries or cherries. I like to do some greens, but I'll do them steamed so that I drop the oxalates. So there's one to do. And I wouldn't do spinach every single day, right? Rotate these things in, but you get some fiber, you get some healthy fats, you've got some phytonutrients. Really great, easy thing to do. So that's one of them. Depending if I'm doing a bone broth and a plant-based, I'll usually put in again, I'll throw in more of my collagen peptides and I'll add in that yolked powder and I throw in my sheatine and away we go. Another one is Greek yogurt. Now, when I do Greek yogurt, now that I can do it, it took a while to heal my gut, but I can do it. I do non-fat Greek yogurt because I want to add in the fat. And I can add in the fat from things like walnuts or chia or flax, and then I throw an additional protein powder from one of my protein powders and some berries. I also love to make protein pudding with cottage cheese. So I will get a low-fat cottage cheese. I add in my bone broth protein powder because I want the collagen in there too. It helps make it really creamy. And then I will add in, my husband loves dark chocolate cherries, so I make it with cherries. If I'm doing eggs, I do a combination of eggs and egg whites. Here's why. In order to get enough protein from the eggs, each egg has about 8 grams of protein. You can see that you would have to really load up. Now, I want the eggs because I want the choline in the yolk. It's amazing. So I do 2 eggs, and then I do usually about 6 egg whites, maybe more. And then I'll throw in either some feta or goat cheese and some greens and tomatoes. So that's what I love to do. I love to do a spinach and mushroom and feta or goat cheese omelet. And then I do tomatoes on the side with a little bit of olive oil. The other one, like you look at a lot of the different countries and they do not have dessert for breakfast. I don't know where we got this from. The easiest thing to do for breakfast is literally whatever you had left over from the night before. One of the things that we make sure of when we're cooking is that we cook extra protein so we can either have it for lunch or breakfast the next day. So that's another easy peasy one that you can do as well. And I'm going to do one other shout out that I learned when I was on Dr. Oz, is that you can make a savory oatmeal. So what you could do with a little leftover protein is have your leftover protein, then make some oatmeal with bone broth, throw in some of my collagen powder. It is fantastic. It sounds gross. It's actually super delicious. I did it with some sauteed mushrooms and it's fantastic, and some herbs. So that's another one that you can do. And sometimes you just have to take that shake and get in the car and go. But ideally you're sitting down, you're eating slowly. Give your body that message of like, hey, we are not in high stress mode, right? We are in build mode. Super important. Now, I'll tell you, when I changed my breakfast, it was really 2 things. I changed the timing of it. I used to eat right away, and I dropped the carbs down in it. I used to eat not quite enough protein, a little too high carbs. And here's what happened. And these 3 things happened fast. My cravings, the mid-morning thing, gone. My energy stayed steady until afternoon. And I found that I ate less for dinner. And most importantly, I could work out harder and recovery improved. Like when I tried to do intermittent fasting and go work out, that was a complete fail on my part. And one of the things we do know is that early protein-rich meals can increase thermogenesis and reduce ghrelin, the hunger hormone. And also they may enhance neat and spontaneous activity later in the day. Like people may just move more. So I want you to think of your breakfast as that signal that trains your metabolism for the next 24 hours. All right, let's go over some of the rules here. When you wake up in the morning, go see the sunlight so that you've got that, you set your circadian cortisol peak. If there's no sunlight, get yourself a 10,000 lux lamp and use that as a little hack. Make sure that you're hydrating and moving. Super important. And then breakfast, about 90, 120 minutes after waking. You want to have your 30 minimally grams of protein. I like 40 to 50, plus fiber and a healthy fat. Get the ultra processed food out, or the sugary lattes, or the healthy morning muffins, garbage. Eat protein first. And if you're exercising early, try my cocktail of the essential amino acids with the sheatine and electrolytes, and then of course the collagen in the coffee and the packet of yolked. Works like a charm. You're going to find that after 40, the breakfast that once worked for you probably doesn't work anymore. So here's your takeaway. How when you eat breakfast sets the tone for your entire day. And when you align it with your biology by getting morning light, adding protein first, stabilizing your blood sugar, and eating within a consistent window, your metabolism stops working against you and starts working for you. Try the breakfast rule for just 1 week. Protein first, real food, no ultra-processed healthy traps. You know better than that. And a morning routine that supports your hormones. And watch your cravings drop, your energy rise, and your workout soar. Now, if this helped, hit subscribe and share it with someone who needs it. You know who they are. And let me know in the comments what changes you notice. Be sure to join me next time for more tools, tips, and techniques you can use to look and feel your best and be built to last. Would you prefer an ad-free experience? Join my VIP podcast at subscribetojj.com for just $4.99 a month or $49.99 a year to unlock uninterrupted ad-free access to all the episodes and insights you love. Also, I'd love to connect with you and hear your thoughts on the podcast. Here's how. First, subscribe to the podcast and leave an honest review. Second, take a screenshot of your review. And third, text it to 813-565-2627. That's 813-565-2627. When you do, I'll reply using my brand new Virtual JJ. It's my on-demand virtual self built from my books, talks, and years of experience so I can interact with you directly. You'll make my day, and I can't wait to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Hey, JJ here, and just a reminder that the Well Beyond 40 podcast offers health, wellness, fitness, and nutritional information that's designed for educational and entertainment purposes only. You should not rely on this information as a substitute for, nor does it replace professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you have any concerns or questions about your health, you should always consult with a physician or other healthcare professional. Make sure that you do not disregard, avoid, or delay obtaining medical or health-related advice from your healthcare professional because of something you may have heard on the show or read in our show notes. The use of any information provided on the show is solely at your own risk.